Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode on A Better World with Adrienne. I am so excited to drop in with you today. I am dropping in from San Diego. I am on a bit of an adventure and I'm bringing this adventurous energy to the podcast today. This whole channel exists for you to access the full wattage of your potential so you can reveal as much light as possible. And when each of us do this, we naturally tip the scales into a world we're proud of. And I'm on a jaunt, an adventure, a mission of a lifetime to do this. And so I've been going to different places. I had my retreat in Sedona. I was in LA for my Kabbalah teacher. Now I'm in San Diego for some adventure and client work. I'm going to be doing a retreat of my own this weekend, and I just am really excited to drop in on this topic all about integrating peak experiences. So before we get fully into the topic for today, a couple announcements of things I have going on in case you want to join, in case you want to join the party, and really just go deeper with me to integrate, to embody, and to live these teachings day in and day out. So my June immersion Maverick is starting on June 3rd. This is a 1 month immersion where I'm going to be guiding you on how to fully unhook from the matrix and live a maverick life outside the lines, color outside the lines, play outside the lines, how to make money outside the system, how to transcend the politics, how to just unhook from chaos and click into permanently the light of the creator and your destiny and the miracles meant for you all day, every day, regardless of any external circumstance. So it's going to be breathwork, it's going to be astrology, it's going to be high performance coaching. And the cool thing about Maverick is obviously we're going to have four live calls, and I'm going to let spirit guide me of like, okay, is it going to be breathwork? Is it going to be coaching? The really most impactful part of Maverick is the daily Voxer coaching. This is different than Telegram, okay? Telegram is where I share broadcasts and private podcasts, okay? Voxer is where you can drop audio notes and get coached by me in the daily moments in your daily life. So it's a highly intimate, deep dive experience. It's a 1 month commitment. It's amazing. So if you want to jump in with both feet and be fully unhinged, um, definitely listen to my Friday Fire podcast called Wake Up and Be Free if you are considering the Maverick immersion. So I have that going on. That's starting on June 3rd. The link to sign up is in the show notes. If you have any questions at all, message me on Instagram, email us. We will get you all set up. And the other big thing I'm focusing on right now is filling the spaces with the correct souls for the Mount Shasta retreat. Okay, so that's on early bird pricing until June 15th. So if you want to come to my next New Earth activation retreat, the next one is going to be in Mount Shasta. It's the Lemurian frequency, it's all of that expansion on that sacred land, leveraging the divine timing of the fall equinox. So if you are interested in that, some of the people from Sedona are signed up already. We've got people that weren't in Sedona signing up. It's just a whole vibe. It's a unique soul pad that's called to each one of these, a specific land, specific times. And it really is a deliberate quantum leap. Everybody from Sedona is saying it felt like we were together for 6 months and we were only together for 4 days. That's called bending time in sacred sites. So if you are interested, apply through the link in the show notes. It's a very, very limited spot. So there are 12 spots. These are life-changing, intimate spaces. So if you want to come to that retreat in Shasta, apply today, book today, lock in the early bird rate today. And I have one spot available for premium one-on-one mentorship. So you can work with me for a whole year and go deep, deep, deep. And that application is in the show notes as well. Excited to see who hops into everything. All right, let's transition to today's topic. So Today's topic is how to integrate peak experiences. And I felt called to this topic because I talked a little bit about this in the episode about the Sedona retreat recap. And it's really, really, really important. Basically, my whole life has become a peak experience lately. And this happened when I moved to Maui. I was like, oh my gosh, like every single day, all day is a peak experience. And when we do not, it basically became what prior to me moving to Maui, what had been a peak experience would be like a vacation or a spiritual trip or something like that became my day to day, everyday reality. And so it was like 0 to 100, 0 to 100. And I'm experiencing that right now. Like my whole life has become just a string of peak experiences, obviously deliberately, obviously in divine decree, obviously, I'm choosing it and creating it every single day. And something I spoke a lot about at the Sedona retreat, especially on the last day, was like, it's really important to decide how you're going to move forward from this because if we don't integrate, if we don't implement, literally information without implementation means nothing. Let's say someone had all these downloads on their retreat and then they got home from the retreat and they just went back to all the old ways, then they didn't integrate the peak experience. They didn't shift it. They didn't make it who they be. And so then their reality will stay the same after that. I wish I could say this never happens and people always just do it, but it's a process. Receiving the transformation, receiving the peak experience is one thing. To integrate it, to embody it, to live it, to implement it on repeat, to code it into your system is a whole other thing. So I'm excited to be teaching on that today, and I hope this serves you. I have 7 major ideas to share on the topic. Before we get in, let us call upon the altar. I have a very simplified travel altar these days. I have the white light of Creator on the altar. The altar is ancient technology. It's how we say thank you in advance. It's how we make a grounding place for miracles, for Spirit to speak through me. And my prayer before every single podcast is please make me a clean channel for something greater than me. That is my prayer. So we have the divine white light of the Creator holding everyone in your divinity, in your magic, in your power, in your potential, regardless of any external circumstance. Literally nothing going on in the world right now can separate you from the light of the Creator if you decide that, that's just what you're available for. You're available for the light of the Creator, and that's it. Okay. On the altar, one crystal. I have a carnelian crystal that I got in Sedona. I was guided to it. It is for the sacral chakra. It's for creativity and fertility. I've been doing a lot of very, very, very deep healing work on my sacral chakra for creativity, for fertility, for just like, there's a lot coming up in my womb right now that gets to be healed. And I'm bringing this energy to the space because, yes, fertility for life, but fertility for dreams, fertility for creations. Um, it's just that fertile energy. And I'm recording this also in the dark moon. And the dark moon is the dark moon right before the new moon in Gemini. The dark moon is a time of letting go, of composting. It's the fertile void. A lot of people are out here like, oh, we got to plant new moon seeds in, we got to plant all our seeds, and do all these things. They're like throwing new things in the fire when the cosmic cauldron is draining. And it's like, yo, why are you planting all of your amazing, wonderful seeds in a draining bathtub and a draining cauldron? Wait, slow your roll. Let that shit go. Let that shit drain. And then we can start with the moon is new. Can I get a hell yes for that on the altar? So it really is this, there's a big like clearing energy I feel in the space right now, which is very exciting. And it's a dark moon and a moon day. I record my podcast on moon day because it's aligned with the astrology Mondays are ruled by the moon. They're also ruled by Mercury. Okay. And then Mercury is also rules Wednesdays, which is why I always drop my podcast on Wednesdays. So spoiler alert, I leverage the divine timing literally down. I'm such a nerd and a mad scientist about the astrology. I'm such a literal astrologer. So that's on the altar, the literal astrology. And the last piece of the altar is our life force energy. Every single person receiving this transmission, just be in your body where you are. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths together, connecting our souls and our minds and our spirit and our bodies in a grid of light together. So inhale through your nose, exhale out the mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. We are connected. The portal has been set. Let's drop in about how to integrate peak experiences. Okay. So I want you to bring to your mind's eye a peak experience that you've had, a positive peak experience, spiritual experience. Maybe it was a class you did, maybe it was a trip, maybe it was just, just the first thing that comes to your mind. And I really want you to go through this list with me and really get real with yourself on, did you do this? Are you doing it? Like, this stuff is really important, and I just got really clear on it, especially after the Sedona retreat. And I was looking at the next month of my life, and I was like, okay, I have the Sedona New Earth retreat, my first retreat I'm ever stewarding. That in itself would be a peak experience. Honestly, I got to Sedona, I worked with my shaman for a couple days. Then I had the whole retreat. Then I had more quality time with Bethany and healings with her. Then I flew to LA and I had a Kabbalah event with my teacher and had all these soul family everywhere. Just the amount of incredible souls I'm meeting through Kabbalah all over the world is blowing my mind and just showing me how there it really is limitless abundance in all forms at our fingertips every single moment, all day, every day. We've just got to become the vessel for it and say yes to it. Like, creator wants to give you so much every single day, all day. You're the one limiting it, right? With your vessel, with your thoughts, with all the things. Thank God for breath work. Thank God for coaches. And thank God for astrology. Um, and now I'm in San Diego and just doing some in-person client work with soul and, soul family connection. And then I'm doing a retreat of my own. And then I'm coming back to San Diego, and then I'm going to Mexico and doing more in-person client work and like soul family, just adventure and all of that. And I was just looking at the calendar and I'm like, this is all a peak experience. Like, literally one of these things by itself would be a peak experience. And so it's really, really easy when you start living life at this wattage, which is 100% available for you too. And actually your destiny, if you're receiving this episode, it is your destiny to live in this way. If you want to learn how, hop in the Maverick immersion. If we're not integrating it, it's not going to change your life. It might change your life a little bit, but you're not going to leverage the amount of change that you could from these experiences if you don't actively, intentionally integrate them. So I actually have one thing I'm going to add to the list, because it just came through my channel as I started. So the first thing is, after you have a peak experience, you've got to give yourself time, alone time, white space in the calendar to just be. Okay. So before the retreat even started in Sedona, I extended that Airbnb a couple nights because I was like, I just know right now I'm going to require alone time. Not like yes, I'll need rest and yes, I'll need healing and all of that stuff. Honestly, my soul was incredibly charged up. My physical vessel was what needed to recalibrate to the new wattage of magic that was coming through me and what had just been created in the retreat. I knew that I was going to need white space alone just to like make sense of what happened and like just just be alone with me and creator and like, hey, like what does this mean for me? Who am I now? Because I'm not who I was. Like, and I knew this. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get on a plane to Sedona and you are going to not be the same person you thought you were when you go back. And it's so interesting because I hopped on that plane to Sedona and I think I had my LA Kabbalah trip planned. I didn't have any of the other stuff planned. And then I get to Sedona and I'm like, right when I get to Sedona, all of this other magic comes through and I'm like, wow, okay. You've got to give yourself time alone, white space in the calendar where you can just be with yourself and be like, okay, literally what just happened? Not like racing back immediately into like, oh, I'm going to do all these to-do tasks and linear thinking and just all this busy work and just clicking right back into the like I use the word matrix as just the status quo, the hustle, the busyness, the lazy, I guess, mindsets people have. Like, to be honest, like mediocrity is lazy. It's a lazy mindset. So is scarcity. Scarcity, it takes zero effort to be in scarcity because the whole world is in that. It's just operating in groupthink, right? It takes incredible discipline to reject the groupthink. You cannot be lazy to reject groupthink. You've got to be on purpose, like, hey, this is how I think. I'm only going to surround myself with people that, are in the game of thinking outside the status quo. Every single successful person. And my Kabbalah teacher said this over the weekend, and it's something that I have said many, many times, but it's like, if you want to know what to do to be successful, do the opposite of what most people do. For real. It's a fast track to success. Just do the opposite of what most people are doing, and you will create opposite result of what most people do. You've got to give yourself time and space. And I talk about this a lot with Sacred Saturday, but it's like if you're if you're constantly having input, you have never have time to digest what happened and make sense of it and clean your channel. And it's like all of these external things are coming, but it's like, who am I? What do I think? What does this mean for me? So you've got to put white space in the calendar and just be with yourself and like, yeah, have the audacity to like, yeah, I am going to take 2 extra days off to heal, to go to yoga, to just be alone and be like, okay, what does this mean? Because a lot of it involves travel and it's not like super nurturing to your it is very nurturing to be on a plane because you feel really 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 connected to God. At least I do. I wouldn't say it's like a nurturing environment for integration though. So that's really important. You've got to first things first, you've got to create the space for it. If you don't have the space for it, it can't happen. So the second way to integrate your peak experience is spoiler, you probably already know this, but you knew I was going to say this. Here's the thing. You probably know it. Rare is the soul that actually does this. Nervous system reset. You've got to be doing deep nervous system reset to code this in as your new identity. Because at a core level, most people's nervous system have programmed that change is unsafe, that change is lethal, that change is dangerous. And when you have a peak spiritual experience and you're like, wow, you're blasting off to other realms, your body, literally the cells in your body that control 95% of your decisions all day, every day, is going to do everything in its power to convince you that it's unsafe to stay at that new level. And so you're going to be like shrinking back small. You cannot allow that shrinking. You've got to do, this is what I do in breath work with my clients. So hop in Angel Air if you want to experience it. We're definitely doing breath work in Maverick. Obviously, I do this at my retreats and one-on-one. If you don't do the nervous system reset, and again, it's not regulating. Regulating is the loop keeping you on the surface. You've got to reset. Go to the root of the issue, the reset button at the bottom of the thing. Okay? Reset. It's safe to change. It's safe to evolve. It's safe to go fast. I've been teaching about this a lot with my clients lately. It's like, it's safe to go fast. It's safe to go fast. Like, creator is quantum and fast. So when you get closer and closer and closer to your potential, you get more and more and more like the creator. It's quicker and it's more immediate and it's and like my body at many points, like I'm like, oh, my body's going to try and sabotage this because it's going so fast and the amount of manifestation is so amazing that I've got to make sure I keep doing breath work so I don't sabotage this. Right. So, nervous system reset, huge for integrating peak experiences. Otherwise, you won't feel safe to change and ascend. All right. Okay, the next one, you've got to make it an identity shift. The only way you will keep the change is if you shift your identity. And that's why I say this work is not for everyone. If you don't want to shift your identity, it's not for you. Yes, it's like, and this is the only way that habit change happens. And we've focused a lot on this in the Holy Habits Hive Mind, but it's like, and I do this a lot in teaching manifestation, is it's be, do, have, not have, do, be, right? Most of the world focuses on like, oh, I have this, so I'm going to do this, and therefore I can be that. No, it's the direct opposite. The Maverick way, the New Earth way is be, do, have. You make moves before there's zero evidence. You be the thing. So when you have a peak experience, you've got to decide like, hey, this shifted my identity. This is who I be now. Okay. And then what does somebody like that do? Okay, let's say you went on a health retreat. Okay, something that came up at the Sedona retreat was trusting yourself. Okay, it's a whole identity shift. So if someone came to the retreat and they were chronically second guessing every single move they ever made, and then they tapped into this deep layer of self-trust like never before, and then they go home and they don't do these things, they immediately go back into second guessing themselves because they didn't shift into the identity of like, I'm a person who has certainty in myself and trust myself, right? You've got to create the identity shift. You can't, it's not enough to just be checking boxes. Oh, I did this, I did this, I did this, but low key, that's you still are someone. Your identity is that you're someone who second guesses. Do you feel the difference? Do you feel the difference? The only way the behavior will change is if the identity changes first. Okay. Okay, the next thing is get really clear on some simple moves you can make to implement the peak experience. So, like, whatever dropped in your alone time, what dropped in during your breath work and your nervous system reset, like in the identity work, it's like, identify a couple simple needle movers that you will do and change permanently. Because remember, it's not decision fatigue. I don't believe in decision fatigue. Okay. The only time there's ever quote unquote decision fatigue is if people have made fake decisions. This is like when people say, like, oh, they pretended that they decided they were going to be healthy, and every single day they're waking up in the morning, okay, am I going to work out or not work out or not work out? If you actually made the decision, then it's not a question of if you do it or not. You do it, right? So identify some simple moves and release the pressure off yourself, okay? Because sometimes and you might resonate with this because I work with high performers. And when you are a high performer and you are successful, and you are constantly seeking to improve yourself, while also loving yourself deeply, it can be, you can put a lot of pressure on yourself. Like I know for me, and I even said this to one of my teachers. I was like, I just know the importance of this energy and I want to leverage it the best I can. And I was like, was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And that's just like a whole nother, pressure is good to a certain degree because it sparks innovation. It's like it's this like do it and do it now, like I I learned how to thrive in high pressure situations in classical music, and that's one of my superpowers as a new earth steward and a new earth leader, is like helping all of you access that like unfuckwithable, like yes, I perform at a high level literally no matter what's going on around me. Why? Because I'm a high performer, because I'm an artist, because I am a warrior, because I trained for this, because I am elite. Okay? And people don't like the word elite. I like it. It's just data. Some things are better than others. Some things are higher quality than others, right? So release the pressure. Identify a couple key moves, key things that are going to move the needle forward for you in your new identity from this experience, and then release the pressure. Okay. Because some of you, and when I say you, I say me, but you'll sit down and be like, I've got to change 50 things. And then you never do any of them because you put yourself into a state of overwhelm, right? So, an interesting download I had recently was the difference between overwhelm and overflow. A lot of people actually perceive abundance as lack. I had someone tell me they were like overwhelmed by my membership Angel Air. And it was so interesting because it's like, for me, I have a lot of different mentors. I'm in a mastermind. I have a one-on-one mentor. I'm in a lot of courses and programs. I'm going to these live events. I'm going, like, to me, it's just like a menu and a buffet that I get to choose and pick from anytime. And like one golden nugget at the perfect moment from any of these things is worth like millions of dollars to me, right? Honestly, it's priceless that if it can change my whole life. And so it's very interesting because it's like, to me, I don't get overwhelmed by having all of these things. I'm like I'm a queen. I get to be supported abundantly. I get to have an elite team of advisors around me, and I just plug into the correct one at the correct time. I'm not in a state where I'm like, I've got to be using all of this all the time, blah 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 blah. Like, I'm in a podcasting, I'm learning about pitching myself on podcast to be on other podcasts. And I'm in my friend Chelsea Rife's container right now. She was actually on the podcast. She's amazing. Um, and I haven't been on a call for that in like 2 weeks. I mean, my retreat uh was the first primary focus, obviously. And then I haven't been in Slack. You know what? I'm going to drop in when it's correct, when I can actually receive the information. I don't have all this pressure on myself of like, I've got to log in now and I've got to do it now because I'm paying for this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I wouldn't even receive it correctly now? So it's interesting because, people that get overwhelmed by like, you get to choose, you're in control. Like if there's a huge menu, if you go to the buffet, if you go to a buffet, are you someone who gets overwhelmed because you feel like you need to eat all of it right then and there? That's actually scarcity. Or where abundance would be like, wow, I have so many options. I can pick and choose whatever I want. This is amazing. I wonder what I'm in the mood for right now. What am I called to right now? So just create simplicity for yourself. Hey, these are the three key things right out of the gate I know I get to do in my daily life, and take the pressure off needing to renovate like every nook and cranny of your life in one day because then you will never ever do it. And that is a crux of why a lot of people never change their life. They get so um basically what's happening is your potential is knocking at your door and you see all these things wanting to be changed and it's so deeply uncomfortable and you are maybe don't have the tools to, this is why working with people like me is so important. You might not have the tools to metabolize it or move forward with it in a tangible way. Um and then you just never do it and then you die with regret and dreams inside you, which is horrible, So that's a question that's came through. Where do you confuse abundance for lack? Where is there abundance in your life, but you're seeing it as lack? Like that person was considering my membership and they're like, well, oh, that's like way too much for me. And it's like, well, you don't need to sit down and do it all day in one day. Like you can pick and choose and all of this thing, but it also just showed me like, I mean, not everybody's meant to work with me, first of all. And then there's certain points in people's journey when they are ready to step into certain things that I do. Like, so it's interesting. Okay, the next one, let the old fall away naturally. Okay, when you do all these peak experiences, you are going to change. And if you are implementing and integrating them, you are going to change. You must let the old things fall away. You must let them fall away naturally. Okay, I've seen it right in front of my face. Like I have outgrown, honestly, I have outgrown people in all parts of my life, in every single facet of my life. One of the most crazy things is I'm noticing I'm outgrowing some clients, which is like, it's really interesting because this it just shows how much I'm changing at a rapid clip. And it's like, you know, everybody's on their own path and journey and we're clicked in for certain times and all of that. But it's been very interesting because I'm like, wait, that was crazy. That happened out of nowhere. And just being okay with that. And that might scare you shitless. And that's how you know if it turns you on and scares you shitless, that's the sweet spot of life. That's how you know you're on the edge, right? Of the person you came here to be. Let old things fall away naturally. You cannot grip to the past and claim a new future at the same time. And peak experiences are you stepping into a new future, you stepping into a new reality, you stepping into a new you. If, by the way, this whole episode is under the premise that you are deliberately seeking peak experiences for yourself to change your life. If you're not already doing that, you must do that. Okay. Destinies are not stumbled upon, they are chosen, they are sought out. And, we live in a matrix world that profits off you staying small and mediocre. It's not the easier, it's not the easy path. It's definitely not. And it's 1,000% worth it. So you've got to let the old fall away. Old relationships, old ways of being, old jobs, old clients, old romantic patterns, just like anything old, just let it fall away. You're not that person anymore. And here's the thing, you can have conversations with people in your life when it comes up on the other side of these experiences and being like, hey, like, this is who I am. This is who I am. And give them time to adjust. You would be surprised the people that it shocks me to this day. Some people that I thought would be ride or die, come with me forever, that just like ghosted and just it shattered my heart at the time. And then the people that like I never thought would be like ride or die, they're like, "Oh yeah, we got you no matter what." And I'm like, "This is amazing." I love being surprised and blasted open by life. So, okay, the next one is journal it out. And then it kind of bleeds into the one I just said, but like make sure you have structures to maintain the new normal. Okay. Willpower doesn't work. You've got to set up structures in your life to maintain the new normal. So my new normal, I'm still integrating what it is, but specifically from the Sedona New Earth retreat, um, my new normal is a lot with just being seen as a shaman and just fully owning that. And it's like everything leading up to that is like just all of that's just like dead, you know? And I mentioned on the podcast, I literally did a death ritual to say goodbye to my previous self because I'm just not her anymore, you know? And that to me is like it's like consistently like how am I tapping into this deeper essence of myself and letting myself be seen that way and just letting myself like Maverick is like I'm going full Maverick. It's like everything I've been doing for 8 years that I've never talked about. You know, it's so fun and it's so amazing and it works. But I journaled a lot about that. I'm like, what does it mean to be seen as White Star like in this new chapter? And how am I going to maintain this in my new normal? Because I'm just like not going back. There is no back, you know, there is none. And you've got to have structures for that. So I have a lot of structures in my life. Like I have support and I changed my whole morning routine around. Like it's similar, it's just a different pattern because I required a new pattern. So it's a very, very amazing you've got to have structure because your willpower won't work. Your willpower won't. It's just like if somebody says, "Hey, I'm not going to eat brownies," then they go to the store and buy brownies, and their brownies are like sitting on their counter, and they're thinking about brownies every time they go in the kitchen, and they're like, "Oh, I don't eat brownies." It's like that's a waste of your willpower. You're going to break down at some point. The structure to maintain would be you just don't buy brownies. You know what I'm saying? The other thing you've got to do is you've got to root down into Mother Earth. So Mother Earth and new aligned community. Okay? You are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're not clicked into people that are aligned with who you have become after this peak experience, you won't integrate it. You'll go back to the old way. And it comes down to the nervous system, it comes down to science, it comes down to so much, but like you've got to have new aligned community and you've got to root down into Mother Earth. Everything is cool and amazing in your mind, everything is cool and amazing in your journal. If you're not rooted in your body, if you're not anchored into Mother Earth of in this new identity after your peak experience, you won't maintain it. Okay, new Earth, Mother Earth is the matriarch. It's anchoring visions through we are the channel, right? Our body is a portal. You've gotta, you've just gotta be rooted and grounded in Mother Earth. There's just no other way that works and is the new Earth way and is the lasting blessing because we're talking about lasting blessings. I don't give a shit about instant gratification. That's called dark forces. Okay. The status quo matrix world is built on instant gratification. That's not new Earth. So rooting down into Mother Earth, you might be like, well, okay, how is this actually going to help me? Anytime you have a question about life, put your feet on Mother Earth and you'll get an answer immediately. Immediately, my friends. Okay, and then the last one, how to integrate peak experience, celebrate. Celebration leads, success follows. What you celebrate, you integrate. This is why I did a celebration dinner at the end of the Sedona retreat because I was like, we get to celebrate everything that just happened. We get to cheers to our new life, to our new path, to new earth, to everything we created, to the people we became, to this soul pad that came together right here, right now for this specific purpose. Is all divinely orchestrated, all in divine decree. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to celebrate. When was the last time you celebrated? And a lot of people are like, "Hey, Adrian, I just had a peak experience. Why am I going to celebrate? Like this was the celebration." It's like, "No, no, no. You've got to celebrate that you did the thing." And it doesn't need to be crazy. Like literally, um 5 years ago, I used to just like get a really nice Pellegrino, a nice piece of chocolate, and like have a 5 minute dance party in my kitchen to celebrate things. I'm like, oh my God, I booked a new client. Let's celebrate. Because what you celebrate, you integrate. And it's about being seen too. It's about joyfully being seen and coding in like this is prosperity. This is amazing. This is epic that this happened. Most people are so deeply afraid of joy. Most people are more comfortable with pain than joy, pain than celebration. I was not taught how to celebrate growing up. I don't think a lot of people are. I was taught, yeah, you perform with excellence and that's a given. And it's just like, why would we celebrate that? That's the like bare minimum. That's how I was raised. And so to celebrate is a radical act. How can you celebrate? Can you have a dance party? Can you take yourself out to a nice meal? Like, yo, I am celebrating this major peak experience, this brand new identity, like, because what you celebrate, you integrate. If you don't celebrate it low key in the background, you don't want to fully see it. You don't want to fully um boost it with positive energy. You're like, you're honestly you're trying not to get your hopes up if you don't celebrate. Permission to get your hopes up. When was the last time you let yourself get your hopes up? That's the only way things work out is if your hopes are up. If you're like, it might not work, then yo, it's not gonna work. You've got to get your hopes up. It's a superpower. It's that childlike wonder. Like, what if? Not even what if, because you did the peak experience already. So you're going to celebrate. Super powerful. I've taught so much on celebration because it's been such a big part of my journey and it still is. Like, I even think, I think I could celebrate even more. I, to be quite honest, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I had a specific like celebration of the New Earth retreat. I did a lot of fun things, but I didn't have a like a wow, this is so like I'm just celebrating my first retreat. Amazing. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I wonder what it's gonna be. I'm very excited about this. Okay, beautiful people. That's today's episode. These are how to integrate a peak experience. I would love to hear from you. What have your peak spiritual transformational experiences been, life experiences? Have you integrated them? Have you done these things? Which one excites you? Which one do you feel like challenges you? Let me know. I love hearing from you. And if you want to go deeper into this work with me, the link to everything is in the show notes. A lot of amazing things happening in June. When you book in May, you get a bunch of special bonuses. So it's really, really amazing. Um, and yeah, I love you. I believe in you. I believe in a better world. Go out there, make a stranger smile because it charges the whole field. You have no idea what people are going through. Be the change, be the light. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.